where you are in the country or in the world. Some people, good morning. Today, I wanted to talk about healing in the Black community because I think it goes without saying that we kind of have some damage that we need to deal with. It's not going to be okay. It's not. If we keep going the same way that we're going right now, it's not going to end well. Why would we expect it to? Right? There's so many people. There's a lot of complaints when you talk to people. How many times do you talk to a Black person and we have certain rote answers that we say, and I think that that hides the truth. If you ask someone, "Hey, how you been?" "Oh, I've been good," and then either they will stop the conversation or it will be followed by a bunch of problems that pretty much negate the fact of saying, "Yeah, I'm okay." Why do we do that? We already believe that no one is going to care. And then when we're asking for help, do we ask from a genuinely humble place? No, because we're covering vulnerability. We don't want to be vulnerable to, other people. Hey, Caribbean Fire. Hi, Kenny. Caribbean Fire, what happened to the profile pic is that was me hanging out being happy. This is my apothecary picture. I got my afro puffs. It's all natural. It's part of the subject matter today. But I'll use that one on my next live just specifically for you, okay? So back to the subject is that it covers up vulnerability because we don't trust one another. And so something as simple as speaking to my neighbors or going to the store, seeing other Black people there, the decision tree that I realize that we all have to do on whether we're even going to smile and wave. If we walk past a Black person, do we believe that they did something to cause their sadness? If we see them crying or we see them looking down, do we believe automatically that they did something, they were part of it? Do we feel that they were oppressed and something outside of their control happened to them that day? Do we even ask because we have time to help and actually listen to the answer and we're actually going to care? Are we so bogged down with our own stuff, the things that happened to us that day, that we don't want to take on anybody else's problem, right? So at that moment, it dawned on me that we are not a community that is healed. And we are gonna just take the answer that we do need healing because we're not okay, because bad things happen to us. And as much as we keep saying that we're okay, it negates everything that happened in the past, and we're still seeing the impact of it. So we're not happy. We're not okay. And truth is one of the reasons why I think that we need to work on that in order to get to this healing place. And there are other things, but these are the four biggest things. So, in no particular order, because we need all of them. And it's going to be an individual process, whichever one you can do first and you can use to springboard to the other three. And there are different subsets within each one. And if anybody wanted to come up and talk about those things, then we definitely can do that. The first one is truth, accepting and being able to say whether somebody's going to help you or not, whether somebody's going to have sympathy, whether they're going to understand, no matter what the consequence is, being able to say the truth. When it's going to sound very depressing initially, but I think that that's what's needed to wake other people up till they get to the point where they can say, yeah, we got to do something about this. We like to pretend, and we're not even competing with other people. We're competing with one another. We like to cover ourselves in shiny things because then it gives the illusion to others that we're okay. And to some of us, we lie to ourselves and we think those shiny things when we look in the mirror say that we're okay as well. So we're lying to ourselves too. And then there are those of us who have awakened and we know that that's just the cover, but we keep doing it. We know that we're not okay inside. And we keep adorning ourselves with these things that are make other people think that we're okay, with the hopes of us thinking that we're okay. But do we really want to continue to live in the manner that we're living currently? It doesn't sound happy because when you get people drunk or if you get people in a state of relaxation, that's what falls out. How many people, when they get to a state of relaxation, good things fall out of their mouth about what's happening in their life. And if it is, it's usually something short-lived or short-term. It's, I got a promotion. I will be able to feed my family this week. But it's never our people, our culture. I'm just happy standing around participating in one of our traditions. I was told yesterday on a different panel with Chaos Reign that the Gray Faulkner Initiative is focusing on Black boys. I agree with that. I think that's very needed, and I'm grateful that Black men are stepping up to do those things. And I'm happy that it's a Black man doing it and not politicians telling us how to not get shot and telling us how to raise our kids. There's a whole entity that now checks us on whether we're doing what's appropriate for our kids to survive in this society that we live. It's set up to do that, to come into our house when they have permission or when they have reason to believe that we're not doing what we're supposed to do. So therefore, if we don't like it and we feel like it's intrusive, we have two options. We can create our own traditions and our own way of life and garner the respect for it, but we have to live by it. So it's going to require action to do so. No one's going to take it seriously or respect it if we're not even taking it seriously or respecting it. Or option two, go along with what's been set up for us and also stop complaining. So I have some ideas on what I think rites of passages and things would do for little girls to give them the self-esteem that they need to feel capable of following whatever it is that we're going to define our culture as. And so I'll post some of those as well. And as always, any feedback that's respectful is definitely appreciated. So truth, accepting what comes from what your actual status is. When someone says, how are you doing today? If the answer is not, I'm fine in real life, then don't just say that rote, rehearsed sentence. Us being taught to say that had a purpose, but we're not living by that purpose anyway. Our parents taught us manners, and the manners were to say, oh, I'm fine. How about you? Because you're not going to focus on yourself. You're going to focus on the person that took time out of their day to ask you how you were doing. They showed concern. That could be used for evil. So you also say, I'm fine, to keep people out of your business. Well, with the advent of technology, that's not possible anyway. If you don't tell them, there are so many things that are documented and public knowledge, public record, and they would definitely know. If they're watching you, they will definitely know, because that's something that our community does well, is to watch people and to figure out what's actually going on. So to be honest with you, you're not actually hiding anything. You're not hiding it from people. They know. They can tell. And they can tell because they're going through it as well. Oh, well, thanks, Kenny. That would be lovely. And I would enjoy more interaction in the chat. But you know, I'm just now starting out, so I guess it'll come. But thank you so much. And for all of the compliments from everybody in the chat. Thank y'all. So telling the truth is just basically you catching up to reality. We call one another delusional. We don't have respect for one another because we know that you're lying. And you should know as well. You should remember that you're lying. What's the worst that could happen, right? If someone finds out that you're not actually okay, you will get, in fact, some people that will disparage you for it. You'll get some people that will use it against you. You'll get people that will blame you. But at some point, after all of that, you will get someone that understands and possibly someone that can actually help. This became apparent to me when I was applying to go to college. I didn't grow up in the most financially comfortable situations. And they charge admission fees. Well, who's going to pay for that? Well, one thing about it is the community already knows by the addresses, the income of the people who live there. So if the community wanted you to get a job to contribute, which by the way they do, because if not, what are you going to do? You're going to either rob them or beg them, right? Both things irritating to them. So they set up things called fee waivers. But you have to show interest in wanting to go for higher education, and then you have to ask and do the work in order to earn it. All of those things require for you to be truthful about your financial status and not just buy a bunch of stuff and cover yourself in it to tell other people that you have money. It is interesting that if I go into a flea market or a pawn shop, that I see people who have pawned jackets, purses, shoes, and they get little of nothing because these things are being sold for little of nothing, which is, a good place to shop sometimes. It's, yeah, it's a long story. I have 6-figure days. Hey, lady. So going in there, seeing that somebody had these items, you had a $400 purse, and you fell on hard times, and what you were left to do was to pawn it, and either you sold it or either you got a loan and just haven't gotten back yet. But if it's on out there with a tag on it, you sold it or didn't come get it. And I'm not saying that you weren't okay at the time and then bad things happened, but it's not as big of an investment as you could have still had the person living inside of a house that you own while taking out a second mortgage to get through whatever it is. I'm saying priorities. I am not going to tell you how to dress, but what I am going to say is you're not fooling anyone, and also you shouldn't have to prove anything to the people directly next to you, and they know you're lying because you're in the same circumstance as them. So being forthcoming with the truth. If you're not okay, say I'm not okay. I can't help if everything is amazing in your life, so you don't need any healing. Slavery had no impact on you. Okay, well then I will talk to the people that actually need something. And then you need to come over here and help me talk to them as well. You shouldn't have anything else that you're worried about, right? So now then we get to the truth. Call me petty if you want, but it does have a positive end goal, in my opinion. Oh, hey, Neon. Hi, sweetie. So that's the first answer, is truth. It's going to take us getting to the truth. So if you're not a person that can deal with the truth first, maybe you need to do one of these other three, and then we will get to truth later, right? How about respect? Respect for yourself and respect for other people, because as I mentioned a few seconds ago, we're in the same circumstance. Even the wealthier of Black people are still so many rungs beneath the wealthier of other races. And you know why? Because it's not liquid assets. You're taking care of so many other people who aren't doing anything, and that could be for a multitude of reasons. Either they feel helpless, they feel entitled, they're actually incapable, either through physical or mental, emotional states, whatever. The point is, if you're wealthy, you didn't probably get the support that you needed to get there. You did it on your own, but you're told to feel that you were blessed and singled out, and things just opened up for you, and nobody helped you because it wasn't going to matter anyway, right? You're given a whole spiel on how you have to be okay with the fact that you made it out of the mud, and now you're caring for several people around you. Are you allowed to look through those people and see who has the capability or who has a dream that you can now support, and then they do the work to get to that dream and they earn it? Are you allowed to do anything other than just hand them whatever it is that they're asking you for at that moment? Probably not. What's the response that you would get? And so you have to have strength in order to be able to go through all of that, which is why we have so many enabled people in our community. If you don't enable them, they're going to get it out of the system. And then the system is going to come and tell you that they're doing you a favor because it's your responsibility. That's how they feel. They feel that they're doing it on your behalf, that they're handing you over something that wasn't earned, whether it goes directly to you or not. So if you're not a person on public assistance, it doesn't matter. You're still responsible, according to everyone outside of the community and a whole lot of people inside of the community. But you know how respect ties into that? Because if you respect yourself, oh, hi, Slim Duncan. Hey, lady. If you respect yourself, you're going to stick by what you require to let someone stay in your life. You're not going to just hand over your soul, your hard work and earnings. And even if it's a material item, you put, mud, sweat, and tears into it. It's still a part of you, a piece of you that you put into it in order to obtain it for whatever your reasons are. Recreation is a valid reason if you've been working to get something. I had to learn that, and it took me until my 30s. My sin was staying too long. I can admit that. That's part of me being truthful. I should have left a long time ago. And I'm not talking about leaving the community. I mean leaving toxic people. So I'm never going to leave the community, but I will require space from a toxic person, because now you have to convince somebody else to do the same amount of stuff. So at the very least, it's going to be you putting in work now to get it. And let me just tell you, convincing somebody to hand you something is way harder than just working and getting it yourself. And there is, in fact, another option. You could just go without, because, see, respect means that you're also not going to grovel for things that have no value that you can use for exchange later, things that depreciate. It means setting a standard for what your actions are going to be and for what reasons. Oh, okay. Hi, Tony Smith. Hi, Thera Ward. How are y'all? So respecting yourself. Secondly, respecting other people, seeing the potential in them that they may not see in themselves, but not, lowering them to you just handing it to them. That's not helping them to have respect for themselves. Sometimes you have to foster respect in another person in order to achieve the peace around you that we all might possibly want. And I say might possibly because I have actually had people say, well, I don't need peace. I've had people say they don't like it because it's uncomfortable now. They've been in dysfunction so long till they don't know what to do with it. That's a real thing. That just lets me know that we absolutely do need healing. So respecting yourself, respecting others, fostering them to respect themselves. And then that gets us to all respect what it means to be Black. We have a lot to respect in terms of being Black. Look at what all we did. Look at what all we came through. That earned respect. We're still here. We're still fighting. We're not where we are now. We took a L. But taking that L doesn't mean you just lay down. It means if you still don't have what you want, we had, like, I will disclose my age, and if y'all tell anybody, I have to kill you, okay? So in about a week, I'll be 38. According to life expectancy, I still have about 62 years left here. That's time. That's nothing but time. You know how long 68 years is? I did wait until my kids were grown and they're doing what they need to do. They don't want to spend all their day with me. They got friends now they want to talk to. So I'm doing something that I feel like can help, because even when everything in my life is taken care of, when you walk outside to a place with a bunch of Black people, it's a whole lot of tension there already. We don't know who's going to be the person to act up and ruin it all. And why? Because this is probably one of the people that doesn't feel comfortable in peace. When everybody's okay and they're laughing and they're joking, they're the anxiety of waiting for that other shoe to drop because that's what they know to happen. And if it doesn't happen, there are some that just will go home with the anxiety, and there are some that will create it to alleviate that anxiety right there. So this is what we're up against. But if that person respected themselves, they would feel that they earned and deserve some peace. And even though it hasn't happened in their life in the past, that now they're able to appreciate it. This is what they were looking forward to. They're now at the place where they can feel that peace, the peace they knew was coming. And they finally got a chance to get to it. But they don't view it that way. They don't respect themselves. They don't respect others. And they don't respect the life of being Black. So let's say you can't deal with truth or respect right now. You're just not there yet, right? Okay, well, let's try one of the other two. How about pride? Even if you can't stop the lies, even if you can't show respect, can you at least be proud to be part of a group that does? Are you proud that you're still standing? Do you still have that left? You may have gone through a whole lot, but are you proud of you? Did you survive, or did you just exist through it? Are you still the person that was attacked? You may or may not be. Have you come up with a different person to be, and that you can see yourself maintaining that identity? I'm a little bit more lenient than other people, than other content creators, than other movement founders. I am a little bit more lenient. And I think that that's necessary because before you even get to them, if you can't handle smaller tasks, then you probably shouldn't even go over there. And then that way they won't have anything negative to say to or about you anyway. Any great leader understands that there are going to be some people that benefit that did not work toward it. Some of them still deserve it because they truly couldn't. Some of them don't. But you are never going to get 100% of everything. But is the message still strong? Is it still worth it? Are you still going to do it? Yes. So there's going to be some people that put nothing toward the end that we receive. A good leader is not going to focus on that. So my goal is to help those who can still have some potential. So pride means that you're going to feel okay accepting the benefits. The people that truly don't deserve it would. So why shouldn't you? That's part of them not deserving it, is the fact that they're comfortable with that. They're okay with it. Their dream in life was to have a bunch of people carrying them, pushing them to the end, and they're willing to sit there listening to everybody complain about how they're not working. Have you guys ever had to do a group project in school? You know what it's like for everybody to say, "Oh, I want to be her partner. I want to be her partner." No, you don't. You don't want to be my partner because I got a bad attitude, and I will take this F to prove a point to you because my GPA can handle it. Can yours? You will get in here and work. Now, if somebody is still willing to take the loss and take an F, then we all fail. That's probably a person who probably couldn't do it. But I at least need to see the trying. And if I see the trying, then I don't have a problem covering whatever it is you couldn't do. But we're not going to pretend that people are happy to carry you initially. There will be an explanation. If you're getting any kind of assistance, you're definitely going in there every 3 months explaining to somebody behind a desk why you can't do what everybody else is doing. Did you write an essay to the caseworker about slavery and all the chicks hating on you, all the dudes that are waiting to see you fall? Did you write an essay? Did they accept it and hand you a check? No. So you're going to have to explain. But see, part of that truth and respect and pride is understanding what it is you're supposed to do and being honest about what your actual limitations are, because then we can help you get over those limitations, and now you can contribute, and now you deserve, and nobody will say anything to you. Because, we hate for people to say anything to us that differs from what we have told ourselves, right? So pride in yourself, in your output. Are you proud of what you've done and what you've given today? What have you contributed? What work have you done? And so I get a lot of people that come to me and want to use the Bible, and they pick out scriptures. They skip over, if you don't work, you don't eat. They say things like, only God can judge me. When no, that is not, he did not say that. He did not. We are going to judge you because I'm responsible for judging you. Otherwise, it's my fault, whatever you do. See, that's me having pride in myself. Part of my truth, I was raised Christian, and the Bible, some of the things that are in there, I feel like we could do something different. We don't have to do everything that was there. I view it as that's the best they came up with for their time being. And the things that survived up until this moment are things that are like kind of general sense, not their specific actions. We don't even have the materials to do things specifically the way they did it. So nothing is new under the sun in terms of like aspects of what we should be achieving. If things that are abstract, those are the same, but the concrete versions of it have changed because we've introduced more things into our universe. So I just don't go to the building, and I don't subscribe to Christianity, but I definitely know that there's something bigger than me that put this together, because I just got here. I didn't do it. Somebody deserves the credit for it, and I know I wasn't the one who worked it, put it together. I didn't even come up with this idea. So therefore, pride in myself means not taking the credit for something I didn't do. Okay, let's say you can't do truth, respect, or pride, right? How about honor? Being upfront, getting the praise and the accolades that you actually deserve. Your word. If you are an ain't shit person and you stand on that, I can still honor you because at least you know your identity, and I know what to expect if I'm dealing with you. You find that to be honorable. You have your reasons, right? Okay. And I hope you can handle what comes with that, the consequences. Maybe you're a person that doesn't really value living to 80 years old. Maybe you value the here and now. That's your identity. You decide that. But be honorable and stick to that. It's kind of hard to be an ancient person and then also have honor, but if you can find a way to combine those, then okay. So there's all like honor, we would have to have something definitive for you to know that you're either ascribing to or going against. That's the one that's the hardest. That's the one that I am trying to reach. And that's why I talk a lot about defining what we want our culture to be. We don't have to accept what was given or handed down if we don't like it. We can make our own. But who's willing to actually put in the work and the time, the sweat, blood, and tears to actually do it? Find your place in the new plan and then do it. I know that I'm not going to be the one out there actually doing construction work and building the buildings, but I can at least, like, I can't even be the one to come up with the blueprints for it. I can't purchase the materials, but I can say how many we need and for what purpose, and who is going to sustain these things. I can delegate. I'm good at that. So none of us are perfect. I am not even midlife yet. It would be delusional to believe that I know everything or for anybody to expect me to have all the answers. That's part of honor. I'm ascribing to something. And I got to agree with you. I don't like what was handed down. And while I can respect that that's what they had to work with and those are their decisions, I don't have to agree with their decisions. But if I don't, then it's time for me to do something different. What do I agree with? What do I ascribe to, right? And then that is part of the honor, is sticking with that, putting it in works, putting it in place, and then presenting it and seeing if it would be a better idea. There's a chance that it might not be a better idea, but standing on the fact that I chose something different and why. So that's my view, is those four. And if anybody has anything to add to that, then, I am open to that. So with that being said, this is my idea. This comes from what I see when I walk out of my door, what I've experienced growing up. I also know that other people have different experiences. But are they in here telling their experiences? No, I am. So unless they're willing to tell their experiences, then to say, oh, I disagree, that does nothing. Okay, but why though? So this will be the portion where I wouldn't mind opening up the panel, but I am new to what do you call it? StreamYard. So if anybody, first of all, before I go through all of that, does anybody want to come up and talk about this? Because if not, I'll go ahead and end it here. I'm just putting this out there so that if anybody is watching, they can at least have something else as an option. I'm not saying that everybody definitely is going to choose to hear what I say over anybody else. I don't want it to seem like that. I don't want to compete. I'd rather cooperate. But if it comes down to that, I mean, that's part of honor, is, going down with the ship. But since there is not a response for coming up, having the actual discussion, we can leave that to later in the future. But as of right now, I just want to thank all you guys for coming in and showing some love and watching the live stream. I know there's a lot of other people that are live, and I'm going to go watch them as well. But if you guys have any suggestions for other topics or anything like that, just place it down in the comment section. And I don't know if this is common knowledge or not, but if you watch this video, can't say I never told you. Bye.